All right, so today we're going to be going over bartering at the location Longa Desert near Port Conis and Philia. So it's going to be an area. You see the name here, Longa Desert. We're going to click on Longa Desert Oasis Monotone, like it says, between Philia and Port Conis. And today we are going to be going over how much it would cost. Looks like there's a party over there. What the heck is going on over here? Back to the video. Sorry about that, guys. All right, so you want to go to this trading post over here, which is, like I said, in Longa Desert, and you want to talk to this commerce person called Nile. You want to, of course, trade, and these are the items that he has. You'll know that you're at the bartering location because it says barter here, and instead of buying stuff with Caesar ducats, it shows as material needed for exchange. So once we got that down, make sure before you have all your mats that you have the right, style of transport. Now you're in the desert, so camel or trader's skiff would be the best. So we're gonna go over how much, quite literally how much it would cost us to buy these from the auction house, and then how we can, instead of buying them, we can get them manually. So for those that are hardworking Mabinogi folks out there that don't want to do like buy them and are not rich, we'll go over both ways, and then you decide on your own what you want to do, and then we're gonna go ahead and do a run and see how much we get. First thing is fine sand. All right, so I've written down on my notepad exactly how much we need. So we need in total 75 stamina 500 potions and 50 braids if we want to exchange all of this. We need 15 cotton cushion stuffings and 30 finest silk. We need 10 finest leather strap and 30 tough thread. 8 spirit liquor, 16 silver plates and 32 fine fabric, and 3 pet playsets, 9 hay bells, and 15 enchanted firewood. So first, let's check exactly how much they are in the auction house. Per each of them, 311k, 225k, 232k. Minus silk is 270k. Finest leather strap is 75k. Tough thread is 118k. Spirit liquor is 387k. Silver plate is 108k. Fine fabric is 416k. 8 pet playset is 133k. Hay bell is 810k. Last but not least, enchanted firewood is 164k. All right, and let's go ahead and tally this up. Okay, so once again, 75 stamina 500 potions is 311k. 50 braids is 225k. 15 cotton cushion stuffing is 232k. 30 finest silk is 270k. 10 finest leather strap is 75k. 30 tough thread is 118k. We've reached over a mil right now. 8 spirit liquor is 387k. 16 silver plate is 108k. 32 fine fabric is 416k. 3 pet playsets are 133k. 9 hay bells, the most expensive one so far, is 810k. And last but not least, 15 enchanted firewood is 164k. That totals out to be 3.25 mil. 3.25 mil. Okay, which is, it's a lot, by the way. Now let's see how much we can actually possibly make from this. So we can exchange 3 of these, assuming we get the highest at 128k. Let's go ahead and tally that. It's 384k. We can exchange cactus flower 8 times. Let's assume you also do the highest at 28k. So 28 times 8 is 224k. Then we have the Oasis painting. We can exchange 10, and the highest is 13k. Assuming we do the highest, is 13 times 10 is 130k. Then we have Prison Ghost Wings. We can exchange 15, with the highest being 6k. And assuming we can do all of them, that would be, let's see, 60, 30, 90k. And then Fine Sand has 25, with the highest being 3.6. And let's see here, if we do that, that will also be 90k. Let's go ahead and tally all of that up. Assuming we're not using a letter, just assuming we are not using a letter, we would make about 918k from this. So we would be negative 2.3 mil, something like that, right? So one thing to note when doing bartering is you definitely, oh, most definitely, you want to use those sweet letters that you have. Now, I wouldn't recommend using like the 40% or whatever these. You honestly want to use what's going to give you the most bang for your buck. So let's see if we can find 120%. Right here. This is usually my go-to. Up to 120%. And 60% more from the total sales of barter goods. Now, if you somehow got your hands on one of the Irusan ones, I believe it goes to 300k. I mean 300%. Let's see here, but they do cost 1.3 mil. But it only says 75% more from still souls of barter. Well, no, actually, no, it's 300% plus possibly this on top of the 75%. So if you already had a couple of these, this is what I recommend using to get the most bang for your buck. But if not, definitely go for the 120% and then the 60%, because it's kind of cheap. It's only 300 and something k. So that would be your only outside expense of besides the mats. So currently right now, even with the letter, we would be at a net loss, a severe net loss. So let's go over how much money we can save by making the stuff or finding the stuff ourselves. So first off is the stamina 500 potion, right? Now if we buy 75 of these, it's 311k. So we got to figure out, okay, how do we make a stamina potion? So in order to make a stamina 500 potion, you need 1 stamina 300 potion, 1 4-leaf clover, and 1 bottled water. So let's go ahead and let's see how much bottled water is. You can also just do this yourself. You get an empty bottle. I believe they're like 50 gold each from, I believe, the healer shop vendors or general shop. And you just go to a water spot and you can gather the water yourself. So you don't really have to do this. I wouldn't even recommend doing this. This is so let's not even include this, to be honest. What about 4-leaf clover? They sell for basically 5k each. We would need 75. They sell for 20 a stack, so we would already be doing too much. So 4-leaf clover, buying it is also not gonna be a thing. How about a stamina 300? Sell for 150 gold, so that's pretty good. Okay, it would be, you know, less than 30k, so that's good. So stamina 300, buying it seems like the better option, or just, you know, finding it from killing mobs, etc. But right now the cheapest option, buying it, stamina 300 would be good. So okay, how do we get 4-leaf clover then? So in order to get the 4-leaf clover, you have a couple options. You have hoeing, which you can do from flower patches in main Maka. Let me show you an example real quick. This is the more tedious ones, but you can also get, you can kind of like kill 3 birds with 1 stone doing this. So these are the flower patches, and you would just get your hoe, and you would just, you know, start hoeing here. You would get grass from this, bundle of flowers, which is good for artificial turf, which you will need for other bartering items. And then there's a chance for you to get a 4-leaf clover, but it's really rare. Now I have, I think, I'm not sure if hoeing is tied to harvesting. I think it is. No, it's not. Okay. And I think I've only ever gotten like 1 4-leaf clover in a span of like 30 minutes. Now you would need 75 of these. I'm not sure if you want to really spend your time, you know, hoeing for 4-leaf clover. So your next best bet would be herbalism, which can be gathered from the clover new or clover pig pets at a random rate. Now, if you're wondering what that is part of the Finny pet stuff. So for instance, they would look something like this. If I just have to cancel, they'd have like this stuff behind, like below them essentially, and you would harvest from them, kind of the same way how you can, if you, I don't know, I'm sure you guys knew this, but if you do have the sheep, you can technically gather wool from, you know, your pet sheep. So I'll show you an example real quick. You need just a blade, and you would just shear. And if actually it did move, okay, my bad, I didn't know they moved. There you go. We got, look at that, we got nice fine wool. Doesn't really sell for much, but hey, if you need some and you have this pet and you didn't know you could shear, now you know. So basically we would need the same. We would need to get a Finny pet. Now all I have is an armadillo, and so I would need to find a clover new or a clover pig. Now in order to gather from the clover pig or the clover nuss, you would need to have completed the pet training storyline, and that'll grant you access to Mag Mel, which is accessible from the Fiad dungeon. So let me show you what I mean here. And there's another thing that another bartering item that you can get from here as well. So you might as well do this in the long run. So let's move to the Fiad dungeon. Once you've completed the quest, this little portal will show up. We would just obviously just enter. Here we are in Mag Mel, and okay, so it looks like I was correct. So the pig isn't here, which means this must be the nuss, by the way. That's what they look like. Now, if you manage to, if you have already done it, and if you didn't know, if you give this Fiona itself pet whistles, you get their currency, which is the gold leaf pine cone, and you need gold leaf pine cone to buy Cosmos Extract, which you need to make harmonious extract. But that's for a different bartering video. So the pig spawns from 11 AM to 1 PM, and he is gatherable. Besides having him as a pet, the news you would have to have as a Finny pet. So while we wait, let's go over braid. Okay, so in order to get 1 braid, you need 1 thick thread ball and 1 thin thread ball. So let's go over, let's put thread ball. 1 thin thread ball is 1.2k. We need 50 of these, x 10 of these, so that would be about 62k. So far so good. And then let's see here for thick thread ball, the lowest right now they're selling it for is 5 or 28k. We would need to 10x this, that would be 280k, going well over the 225k just for buying the braid directly. Let's figure out, how do we get thick thread ball. And how do we get thin thread ball? Okay, so thin thread ball you get from a cobweb. Now, if you've ever done a dungeon, you've probably seen it and you've probably ignored it. Now, it takes 5 cobwebs to make 1 thin thread ball. So you would need 250 cobwebs to make, you know, enough thin thread ball. So right now, at the price that they're selling it for, it's not worth it. Not sure of course, if you want to spend the time to do a whole bunch of dungeon runs and get some cobwebs and just spam Albi or whatever. So right now, possibly buying the thin thread ball would be save you time and money. It's only 62k. The thick thread ball, on the other hand, is a different story. So in order to get thick thread ball, you need 5 wool. So we would need 250 wool in order to make enough. So first off, let's see how much wool is. Wool by itself is selling for 700 a pop, 7k each. Like I said, 5 wool is 1 thick thread ball. We need 50 thick thread balls for the 50 braid. So we need 250 wool. So 7k. It would cost us 175k if we bought wool from people. And of course, the price has it immediately goes up to 995. So that's not gonna be a good, you know, trade. So what I recommend is just getting wool from sheep. So once again, you can get wool from using a blade and shearing a sheep. You can also shear sheep in Terconel, in Terra, and Teltine. Honestly, this little location should be enough for you to shear all the sheep to get 250. There's plenty of sheep here. If I'm correct, you get to shear a sheep 35 times before they'll tell you to go home. And so, assuming you can only get one wool per sheep, which that would be really, really bad luck, you would need to shear at least less than 10 sheep. So that's not too bad, right? So if you were to get all the wool yourself and have enough wool for the thick thread ball, and then you buy the thin thread ball, you would be saving about 160k. Now, in order to make the braid, you need to do weaving. You get to weave. There's a lot of locations, but I'll show you the most simplest one here in Terconel. And here it is right here. Spinning wheel. There it is. Braid. Now at rank 4, I have a 96% chance. If you have Harvest Song, we should be able to boost that up to 100% chance. And there it is. Now let's say that it's still not at 100% chance. What I recommend is pressing P, party board, and find a production party. And there it is, one right here. This is full, but I'm sure there are others. And what that does is it increases per member of the party, your production success rate increases by a lot, more than 2%. So at a max party, you can get something that's 90% to 100%. So right now for braid, I feel like we would save money, a lot of money. So 160k saved if we do the braid. All right, next is cotton cushion stuffing. We need 15 of those, and it costs 232k. But if you don't want to spend that, then 1 cotton cushion stuffing is 10 fine wool and 5 thin thread balls. So we would need 150 fine wool. Very easy. Same thing. Just shear the sheep, or they actually sell them pretty cheap at 100 gold. You would be able, it's only be 15k. So it's up to you. If I was you, I would just kill 2 birds with 1 stone and shear the sheep so you can get both your wool and fine wool, because you're gonna get the fine wool regardless. It's not 100% wool. It's not 100% fine wool, so you might as well shear the sheep. And then, of course, you need, for thin thread ball, you need 5, cobwebs. So 5 cobwebs to make 1 thin thread ball, and it takes 5 thin thread balls to make 1 cotton cushion stuffing. And so we would need 75 thin thread balls. If we were to do that, we would be spending over 60k, about 90k. So about 90k for this instead of spending 230k. So we would save about 140k. So once again, unless you're trying to like farm cobwebs, possibly just buying the thin thread ball might be your best bet. But for the wool, shear them sheeps, okay? So right now we'd save 140k. Next is we need 30 finest silk. It costs 270k if we were to buy it from the store. In order to get finest silk, you need 6 thin thread balls. We're seeing kind of like a reoccurrence here. But the difference is that you can get finest silk in different ways than just, making it yourself. So there's synthesis, there's hot air ballooning, there's raids, etc., etc. If we were to do hot air ballooning, we can get about 1 finest silk per hot air balloon run between 5 and big stars. So you would need to do 30 runs for that. And of course that would be time consuming, but that is technically the cheapest way to do it. Another way that you could do it is on Mondays. The seal merchant in Dunbarton for adventure, and you'll know what it is because I'm sure you've seen this right here, adventure seal, which you get from doing your dailies, your daily quests, the repeatables. They always give you about 2 per mission completed, sometimes a little bit extra when it pops out of the chest. It costs 30 seals to get 10 finest silk. 30 seals, 10 finest silk. Another way to get finest silk is doing the Black Dragon raid. It drops 10. Another way to do it is synthesis, but you do need the recipe for that. You can also, another way to get the finest silk is a drop from this spider. This spider is located in Belfast, in Scathath Beach, particularly in this little area here. Black Beach Moongate would probably be your best bet. Let's see how strong it is. It says weakest. Let's see if we actually get lucky on just 1 drop. Magical golden thread. It didn't drop finest silk. But one of the drops is an enchant scroll, HP potion, diamond, fine silk, and finest silk. It looks like there's a little bit more over here. There's the small versions, and so it's possible. It might just be better to actually, wow, they drop cobwebs, if you decide to farm, oh, there we go. On our second kill, we got a finest silk. I was gonna say, if you decide to farm cobwebs, you might as well come here and get both your cobwebs as well as your finest silk. And they even drop common silk. Not sure if you need that. So it is up to you. If you do not want to do any of this farming, like at all, then I guess buying it would be your best next option, or just waiting for Mondays and just doing those daily quests and using those seals. So it's up to you. But it looks like the spawn time for the giant spider is pretty fast. And the silk. I'm not sure if the spiders drop cobwebs on drops. I think they just drop it randomly as they're walking. So you could just chill here, AFK for a bit, and just wait for them to drop cobwebs. But it doesn't look like they've dropped anything yet. So let me just check real quick. And on def. I really can't think of another way to get finest silk easily besides, doing the Black Dragon raid, getting lucky with the synthesis, or just spamming hot air balloon, or of course, killing the spiders. So right now, if you do not want to do those grinds, then you might just have to take the L and just purchase it yourself with money, which is 270k. So let's say let's take the 270k loss for now. Next is the cheapest item, which is finest leather strap. Finest leather strap, we only need 10 of those, and 10 of those is 75k. If you still didn't want to spend that, let's find out exactly how we can make this. So finest leather strap, you need one finest leather. One finest leather. You can also get finest leather from the seal merchant. It's 35 seals and he'll give you 10. So that's one way for you not spend any money. Let's see exactly how much finest leather is. It's a lot. So buying finest leather outright is not the goal. So right now the best option is either using the seal or buying it directly. Another way you could do it is there's certain shadow missions that drop it as you're killing the monsters, usually like hard mode. Let's go to Terra. If you haven't done shadow missions, this is where you could do one of them, which is the Terra location. You would get the shadow mission board from the bullets in here, and then you want to do hard mode at least for the leather, and then just do whichever one of these. Let's see if there's a specific one. Ghost of Partholon is good. Shadow Realm Champion, 4 more attack. Let's check the other area at Telteen so I could let you show you both. The Shadow Mission Bulletin board for Telteen is over here. A little bit closer. Hard. Conflict. All of these. It might be better to do conflict, especially since there's no time limit. So you can just, just keep going. One thing that could really help you is having certain titles. One is the Master of Ingredient Hunting, and the other one is who is known as Far as Wide, which amplifies the effect of the Life Master title. And so I have a leather drop rate plus 5%. So of course I'll be able to get more leather drop rate than if I didn't have it, and of course then it's amplified by this. Not sure exactly the percentage that this gives on stacking on that, but at least it's something, right? So that is one way to get finest leather. Either that, spamming shadow missions hard mode, or waiting till Monday using your adventure seals and then getting it that way, or do both. Do your shadow missions, get your daily seals, and then once Monday hits you should have enough to just buy it outright, and then you probably stack up on finest leather. So if let's assume that you manually got the finest leather, you only need one to make the finest leather strap. You only need 10. Shouldn't take you that long. You're saving 75k, which is good. You're saving 75k. I'm gonna put on this that we're saving 75k. Next is we need 30 tough thread, which is 118k. In order to make that, you need 5 thin thread balls. So this is the third time that we need cobwebs. It's the third time that we need thin thread ball. Now it takes 5 thin thread ball to make 1 tough thread. We need 30 tough thread, and so we need 150 thin thread or 750 cobweb. If we were to spend 150 thin thread balls, it would be pretty costly at 6k per 5 stacks, and that's only these. It goes up right after this. That's the bad thing. This is not going to be, what it is whenever you guys try to do this. So you might have to either farm cobwebs or buy the thin thread balls, or just wait or something. I'm not sure. For this one, it's kind of tough, or just buy the tough thread at 118k. I think right now you would save time and money just buying this tough thread at 118k, because I don't think you guys would want to farm for 750 cobweb. But if you do, you'll save 118k on both this and the other times you needed the thin thread ball so far. So for right now, I will say myself, I will probably just buy the tough thread Okay, next is spirit liquor. Now, in order to make spirit liquor, you need potion making, and you want to at least have it above rank 5 to be in the 90%. Okay, in order to make one spirit liquor, you need one white herb, just 400 gold, so that's good. This is good. The next thing we need is piece of an ancient spirit fossil. If you've seen my other videos, then you would know exactly where to get this. If you don't, then just know that it's from mining. Or of course you could buy it from the auction house. Now this is at 9k. So if we need 72k, and then we need elemental remover. We need 2 actually. So let's see how much elemental removers are. They're 2.8. We need 16 total. So let's see, 15, and let's say 15. That's 45k plus 1 more would put us at like 4. Let's just say 50k. Right now, if you just bought all the items yourself, you would save about 260k. Let me just double check. If we bought the white herbs, it would be 3.2k. If we bought the ancient fossils, it's 72k, and if we bought the elemental removers, that's about 50k, and that comes up to 125k. So instead of spending 387k, we would only spend 125k for the items and just make it ourselves, and that would be saving us 262k. So that's pretty good. If you don't want to do any work, save 262k buying the manual items. Okay, so that's good. Good news right there. All right, next is silver plate. You're gonna hear me saying this a lot when it comes to metals: silver plate, gold plate, copper plate, etc. Your best bet is buying 1 silver ingot, 1 Orat crystal, and 1 holy water of Lilamark. If you're lazy, if you don't even want to do any work, that's your best bet. Because if you use synthesis, you can make that 1 ingot into 10 ingots. And if we only need silver plate, we only need technically 2 Orat crystals, 2 holy waters, and then just 2 silver ingots to make that into 20. It only takes 1 silver ingot to make 1 silver plate. If we were to get just a silver ingot, 1.6k, we would need 16, which is 25.6k. So you might not even need to. Okay, 25.6k. Okay, good. So in order to make silver plates, you need silver ingots, like I just showed you. So you would want to go to a furnace, whichever furnace. Silver plate. I have a 96% chance. If I use my harvest song, it'll go up probably to 100%. So you just need 16. Just checked. $16 silver ingots is 25.6k. If you buy the plates themselves, it's 108k. So we are saving money if we just buy the manual item and make it ourselves. We are saving 82.4k. So that's good. So that's what I would do. But if you want to go the full manual way, of course, you could just mine some silver. Next is fine fabric. This is going to be a running theme. When it comes to fabric, it's just really expensive. Just really expensive. Now, the good thing about fine fabric, though, is that you only need 5 thick thread balls to make 1, which means you need wool to make the thick thread ball in order to make the fine fabric. So if we need 32 fine fabric, that means we need 800 wool in order to make, you know, the thick thread ball. I know 800 wool is a lot, definitely time consuming, but it's not bad to save 416k. But let's check real quick. If we were to just get the thread ourselves, we need 5 times 32, so we need 160 thick thread balls. That would run us 912k. So this is not an option. Buying it itself is not an option. The thick thread ball. How about wool? We already know the answer to this. It's gonna be pretty bad if you buy the wool yourself. Yeah, that's not good. Looks like someone bought all the wool already. So yeah, guys, unless you don't mind spending 416k, I recommend just chilling, have some TV or something, and just shear some wool for like 30 minutes or an hour, and before you know it, you'll have your 800 or 1000. And once again, that'll help you with getting also fine wool and just cutting, you know, all the birds with all the stones. One thing you can do, if you didn't know, is if you have one of these bags, you can adjust your collection category to like weave and sheep shearing, and so you don't have to manually pick up the wool, and so that at least save you some time on that. Okay, I'm gonna assume that you guys are gonna shear the wool, okay, and save that 416k. So I'm gonna put that down right now. Okay, all right, here we are in the last area, pet playset. Pet playset, we only need 3 or spend 133k. In order to get a pet playset, you need 1 pet's favorite knickknack and 1 wood board. 1 wood board is 7.5k, so if we were to get 3 of these, that's 22.5k, so that's not too bad. I'm not feeling too confident for the next item though. 60k each, and it looks like only 1 person is selling them. So we are at a loss if we buy the pet's favorite knickknacks. Not too much of a loss getting the wood boards. Okay, how do we make pet's favorite knickknacks? And this is where that one area that I told you comes in. So the Fianot in Magmel sells 1 pet's favorite knickknacks for 20 gold leaf pine cones. You can't buy gold leaf pine cones from the auction house. You can only, that's all you there. Like I said, you would have to go to Magmel. You would have to speak with that deer, like that Bambi, and sell whistles in order to get those gold leaf pine cones. So let me show you real quick. You get the whistles from when you're blossoming. Oh, perfect. Oh, this is like quite literally perfect timing. Pin bell. Go ahead and blossom. Never mind. Okay, there's still 5 hours left for this werewolf. So enough time has passed that I should be able to get the werewolf from here. It's removed. With that, we get our whistle. And then let's go ahead and put another one on there. Let's put a bear. Start blossoming 2 hours and 6 minutes. Red. Self-feeding pet whistle. Let's sell individually. Feeding pet whistle sell price is 40,000 gold. Loves 200. I'll give you 40,000 gold and 10 extra gold leaf pine cones. So that's been done. The whistle should no longer be here. Well, let's go to the trade. Open shop, and now we have 10 of these, which means we could get 1 Cosmos Tract, or, you know, other stuff here. This is where you can also get some reforging tools. Now, it's not going to be guaranteed 10 every time. I think it's just because the werewolf was a lot more powerful than the other ones. And then we almost have enough to get the pet's favorite knickknack, so you need to do the pet training quest line in order to gain access to Magmel, and then you can gain access to possibly, you know, selling the pet whistles to get the gold leaf pine cone, to get some bartering like mats. But if not, you could of course just buy the pet playset yourself. It's only 133k. I'm assuming right now, if you guys have not done those quests, you obviously don't have any pine cones, which will probably take a while. This takes hours to do, so it might take you weeks. Unless you have a whole bunch of blossoming cages. In order to get a whole bunch of blossoming cages, you need a lot of pretty expensive mats. Iron bars, culling stones, flowers, and stuff like that. So it might be easy. If it was me, I would just buy it at 133k, because that's the only way for you to get the pet's favorite knickknacks. So, or buy from the auction house, which you would be at a loss at if people selling them at 60k. So, okay, next is hay bale. Now, this is the most expensive item. So this is where we could save the most money, but it's expensive for a reason. 9 hay bales at 810k. Why is that? So to get 1 hay bale, you need 1 finest leather strap and 20 wheat chaff, which means that we would need 180 wheat chaff and 9 finest leather strap. So let's check that out real quick. Let's check out wheat chaff first. They're selling wheat chaff for 7k each. We need 180. And we would run way too much. This is already like 1 mil, so that's a no. Let's check out the finest leather strap. 75k for 10, so it would be about 60ish k for 9. Or we can make it ourselves, of course, right? With just the 1 finest leather. So if you're already spamming your shadow dungeons, you might as well just keep going and get some more for this item as well. Okay, now wheat chaff, we need 20 of these. They're selling them pretty pricey. There's only one way for you to get wheat chaff besides buying it at the auction house, and that is harvesting wheat. Okay, it's quite literally the only other way. Now the bad thing about this, it's actually a really low chance. But let's see here. Let's see if we can get it somehow. 1 wheat. We actually got 1, 2, 3, 4, so that's good. Definitely pick that up. I'm making some bank actually right now, guys. Go somewhere else to find wheat. Okay, we've done too much here. Okay, that's fine. Another place you can get wheat is exactly where you would go for the sheep, which is in Turconel. It's pretty much right in the beginning area, right here, right by the school, the magic school, and is right next to the corn. All of this is wheat. All of that is wheat. All of that is wheat. And so you saw that I got lucky and I got like 4. But you would need 20 to get 1 hay bale. So it is up to you if you want to spend almost 1 mil, or if you don't mind, you know, doing some harvesting, getting it ranked up anyways, right? Now you will need wheat as well, by the way. You do need wheat, the base wheat for wheat flour for another bartering item. So I just recommend, guys, if you're really about it, if you're really about the bartering life, just get the wheat. Just harvest wheat, just chill, watch some TV, some anime, or read manga, and just spend a couple hours doing this if you're really about that life, okay? Or of course you could use your money from doing dungeons and other stuff to just buy the wheat, you know? Like if you don't really care about you know, money in game, like weapons and stuff like that, but you really like the life stuff and commerce, then yeah, go ahead and just use your dungeon money from combat to spend it on, you know, commerce. But just know that at that 800k is gonna kill you. You're probably not gonna profit on this, but that's always up to you all. So all right, last thing is 15 enchanted firewood, which is 164k. In order to make enchanted firewood, we obviously need, you know, firewood, which turns into average firewood, and that average firewood we can turn it into enchanted firewood. This is actually going to be, you should not buy this. This is the easiest one to do. The easiest one to do. You just need 1 average firewood, 1 shielan, and 1 healwen to make 1 enchanted firewood. You can get average firewood from just chopping trees and chopping logs, or you can make it yourself doing carpentry. Let me show you that real quick. Go to the logging camp, or if you already have one of your own little, you know, carpentry things, this is where you can chop logs. You need a lumber axe for this, or you could go to the trees and you need a gathering axe for that. Once you have a whole bunch of wood, which you will need a whole bunch of wood for other bartering items, you can go to the carpentry workbench. At the carpentry workbench, this is where you can make your average, fine, finest, etc., etc. We only need average for this. It's only 3 firewood. I mean, it's super easy, guys. Like you can easily get how much firewood, enchanted firewood do we need? We just need 15, and so we would just need 45 normal firewood. It's really easy. You can do that like in 5 or 10 minutes. Okay. The other thing that we need is Shelian, which you can get from Shelian crystals. And this is another super easy. Like this is insanely easy. Like you guys, and this is the easy money for you guys too. I'll make a money making guide eventually. But I do running the risk of killing the auction house or maybe saving, I don't know. But if you guys go here, Shelian Nature Reserve, which is off the monotunnel here at Philia, Longa Desert Shelian Nature Reserve monotunnel, just go talk to this person right here. Just teleport mage, be like, yes, move. You need 1 blasted oak wand. So talk to Waze right here, Grandmaster Magic Scholar. Shop. It's only 5k. Then you want to go here, this little corner. If you're actually weak in combat, like you really haven't done combat, you're really just about life, technically you could just, you see the sparkles, you can equip your blasted magic oak wand and just gather here, and you will just be chilling. There's nothing here to threaten you. But if you want a better chance and higher chance rate of everything, you can go to District 1, which is like, let's say medium, and then District 2, which is like super hard mode, I guess. Not really for me, but oh, there's people here. Okay, there's yeah, 3 people here. And then you see the little glow orbs here. That's where you would want to go with using your blasted oak wand. Let me show you real quick. Where's our oak wand? Here it is. Let's put that there. Actually, let's go in this little area because there's barely anything here. I'm just gonna click here. You're gonna gather. It's gonna start dropping some shielding crystals and other stuff. Of course, this rabbit wants to die today. And oh yeah, mono herbs, it can drop all that stuff too. So if you're wondering about herbs, it drop it there too. Got some bloody herb, garbage herbs. There it is, stained. We don't really want that though. And there's our normal shielding crystal. Super easy, super simple, super AFK. This will quite literally, it will take a while for this to like, you know, vanish. You could quite literally AFK this after you kill the mobs that are probably attacking you. Look at that. Look at this huge lucky bonus. Look at that. Insane. Let me actually summon some folks here to gather that stuff. Thank you. Okay, enough of that. You will be coming back to this place a lot, by the way. This is a whole bunch of bartering material here. And that's pretty much it for that. Now, if you don't have your own magic cauldron to do the magic craft, these people have their own over here. So as soon as you're done doing your deed, you can go to the magic cauldron right there. Use the magic cauldron. Shelian, 5 crystals. We have a whole bunch. Barehanded. 100% success rate for me. Difficulty is rank F, so you guys should be able to make a whole bunch even at the beginning. So that's the Shelian. Super simple. Firewood simple. Shelian crystal. Next is Healwen. Healwen's is somehow even easier than this. Somehow even easier. We are going to do NPC search, and we're going to type in Hector. We're going to go to the Healwen mine. This is in Valais. Same thing. You guys can just buy the tool from one of the people here. You're going to talk to this person with the drill, because quite literally what you're going to be using. Hector with the sunglasses. Shop. The drill is 6k actually. And then you're going to go all the way over here to the next person with sunglasses. I always just go B3 because like whatever, you know. And here we are. Well, almost there. This is an insane spot for mats and other stuff. Of course, we're gonna have to kill these guys. Before that, let me equip the drill. Okay, they are dead. Let's switch to the drill. And there's another AFK method. That giant crystal over there is pure AFK. Like, I've never seen it run out. But I did keep getting attacked. I think I left there a while. Drops healware, drops some nickel armor, it'll drop some tin, it'll drop some zinc. Unknown ore fragments, all that stuff. You could just chill here, just AFK. Have your, you know, pet bag, you just pick up the stuff and you're just chilling. Now, you're wondering like, okay, well, we're not really getting a lot of hill and okay, if the harder you go where the crystal's bigger, the more hill win, but the less like nickel, tin, and zinc. So if you are brave enough to go over here, you'll get like almost pure hill win. So look at that. Remember, we only need 5 of these to make 1 heal win, just 1, and we need 15 enchanted firewood. And there it is, depleted. Also, I was wrong about my math was wrong. So we need for all this we need 75 firewood to make the 15 average firewood, 75 of the hill wind fragments to make 15 normal hill winds, and then 75 of the shielding fragments to make the normal 15 shielding. So okay, if you're wondering, okay, well, where do we make the hill wind stuff? Well, that's a hill wind engineering, and just like the other one, we would just go back to where we were. We're gonna go up an entrance, and you're gonna see this big table right here, engineering rack. We're gonna go ahead and just use it. Heal winds right there. Heal wind org fragment, difficulty rank F, and done. Look at that, simple. So that's pretty much what you would need to make the enchanted firewood. And of course, in order to make the enchanted firewood, it's the magic craft from the magic cauldron that we were just at, where you can make the shillion. It's skill rank B, which is not too bad. You can get there pretty fast, just spamming mana bullets. So all right, so let's go ahead and calculate how much we are actually gonna spend. So I think we did say we're gonna buy the stamina 500 potions, which is 311k. So let's go to add that. We are buying the thin thread ball at 62k for the braid, but we are going to do the wool ourselves. We're buying the thin thread ball for the cotton cushing stuffing. We're saving 140k. Finest silk, I think we said that we're buying that outright at 270k. Finest leather strap, we're saving 75k. Tough thread is 30, or 150 thin thread, or 750. So we're actually just buying the tough thread at 118k. Spirit liquor is 387k. But I think we were gonna just make it ourselves. No, we were just gonna buy the manual pieces. White Harbor at 3.2k. Ancient Fossil 72k. Elemental Remover at 50k. We're saving 262k, so let's go ahead and add that. 3.2 plus 72 plus 50. Okay. And then silver plate is 25.6k, buying the ingots, making it ourselves, the rest ourselves. Fine fabric is 416k. I believe we said save 416k because that's all wool, so we are not adding that to that. We're good on the enchanted firewood. We're making that ourselves. Pet play set, I think we have to buy that. Yeah, that's kind of a tough one. Wood board 22.5k by 133k. Okay, and then hay bell is 810k. I think we were gonna tough it out and just, you know, farm that ourselves. So right now, if we tough it out, if we do not buy the hay bell and we just go crazy with the wheat and hopefully get wheat chaffs, we are currently at 1.1 mil. Currently at 1.1 mil. If we were to get the hay bell, we would then be spending 1.9 mil, and that would put us at a loss. So once again, guys, if bartering is no joke. I don't know how the other players do it. I don't know. They must have the craziest homestead or something. Our biggest expenses is the thin thread ball. But so if you don't mind farming cobwebs, that would save you a lot of money. Stamina potion was at 311k, but we don't really have a way to just easily get 4-leaf clovers like that. So right now our biggest killers is the 4-leaf clover, thin thread ball, and then technically the hay bell, yeah, but mostly just cobweb and just the thin thread ball. But assuming you guys are like, you're gonna farm the wool and you're gonna farm the wheat, which is gonna help you for other stuff, other bartering stuff, we are at 1.1 mil.
compared to what we would have spent. We would have spent 3.25 mil if we buy everything. Instead, doing it, you know, more manual labor, it's 1.1 mil. So it's up to you how much this is worth it. You're still going to get your seasonal ducats. You're still going to get your commerce ranking score. But you are going to be losing money. So if you don't mind losing gold, then it's up to you. But 1.1 mil is not too bad for maybe like a couple hours of, you know, going hard with some life skills. And then again, of course, we would make profit base at 918k, but with the letter, we are definitely making a lot more. I would say maybe like 2 mil or more or something like that.
Okay, y'all, so I figured out a way to get some cobweb. After editing the video, it's like, okay, there's gotta be to get some easy cobweb, and there's gotta be an easy way to get some cobweb. So we're gonna go to Turconel, and we want to go to the graveyard. That's where the graveyard is. Spiders drop cobwebs periodically, but not when they're aggroed. So how many spiders do we have here? 1, 2. There's one cobweb right there. I do crisis escape right here, which means I won't get aggroed. I have 2 cobwebs laying down right there, so I'm gonna go to bunny. I'll summon them. Clear materials. There it is. Tailing materials. We have that many cobwebs. You can also do play dead. Just have that there. We have a couple cobwebs in just a couple seconds. So that's pretty good. So this is a way to AFK farm it. Now the problem with this though is that there is a summon time. So I have 1 hour and 40. It's 1 hour 18, 2 hours, etc, etc. 2 hours 30. But like right here. Now another way you can get the cobwebs, or actually get all the spiders to come into the one spot and just be there, is a music skill. I don't have this yet, but it's called enthralling performance, and so you will kind of like just lure all of them to like wherever you would go. But yeah, you'd have to complete the G13 storyline, or at least get that far. So that's another way to get cobwebs. Another way that we can get thin thread ball, we're gonna need to use this one right here for fragmentation. So if you have common silk or cheap silk, you can fragment them to turn them into thin thread balls, and that's for instead of having to, you know, farm cobwebs. Let's see, we have 10 cheap silk and 1 common silk. Now it's not guaranteed, it is not guaranteed that you will get a thin thread ball, but it is a way for you to know to get it. So first, before anything, let's type in silk. Cheap silk is 2k each. Let's go over again. Thin thread ball. Thin thread ball is 3k each. Cobweb is currently 700 gold each, but you need 5 to make 1. So right now, yeah, our cheapest method would be the cheap silk. Okay, so I have 10 cheap silk, and what we're gonna do is fragmentation. We're gonna put the cheap silk in here. 65% success rate. So we're gonna do fragmentation, cheap silk, and looks like because we have 10, we have a chance to get 0 to 30. But we'll just do auto. We got 1. Okay, how many thin thread balls did we manage to get from that? 12, about 12. If we would have purchased it ourselves, it would have been about 36k. Cheap silk, so we saved money. That's good. Another way for you to get the cheap silk or the common silk, of course, is the seal merchant. For common silk, 8 seals gets you 10. For cheap silks, 3 seals get you 10. For cheap silk, you could do the shadow mission mobilizing the expeditionary force, and it's a guaranteed drop. Yeah, just wanted to show you guys that. If you don't want to do this, or you don't have your fragmentation up, then of course we could always just do the you know, FK farm cobweb. Okay, I just looked up, and apparently another way for you to get thin thread balls, even thick thread balls, is to give gems to Simon. Apparently, Ruby, there's an 89% chance he'll give you thin thread balls, diamond thick thread balls. So let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and just buy 3 rubies. How much are diamonds? A little too expensive. So let's get 2 more. Okay. We didn't really spend that much. About 3K. We're gonna go to Dunbarton. And we're gonna go to the tailor, which is at the clothing shop. He's the guy that, if you've been here before, he was dancing. She's 5 spools of thin thread from Simon. So there we go. Now it's a percent chance. Let's see if we get lucky each time. I'm not sure if he takes all of them all at once. Spools of thin thread. Belt buckled boots from Simon. It's a 4% chance for that. So we got unlucky there. Sandra's sniper suit cap's a 4% chance of that. So we got unlucky there. 5 spools of thin thread. Nice. So we got lucky on a couple of those. Unlucky on a couple of these. So I think we did pretty good. It only costs right now currently about 700 gold per, compared to a thin thread ball, which is 3K. And we got 5 per, so we're saving more money. So I think that might be your best bet for getting thin thread ball. So either AFK cobweb farm or buying some rubies and then just talking to Simon and exchanging with him.
Guys, if you have somehow stuck with me this entire video, I appreciate you. There's a lot of stuff. It's a lot of stuff, and this is just the first bartering location. I've done every single one of the bartering locations so far except the forest one, the Roku one, Kuro Forest, Karu Forest. That's the only one I haven't done yet. That's the next one I'm planning to do. So right now, yeah, so that's pretty much everything. I'm gonna put here on like a picture of everything you need as well, if you wanted to just see it instead of just hearing me say it, like the items and like the checklist and stuff like that. But if you guys enjoyed this video, you made it this far, please like the video, click on the next video, which is going to show me buying the items and then selling it at a different location, so you can see exactly how much profit I make, how much my score goes up, my ranking, ducats, etc, etc. So if you guys found the video helpful, please give the video a like. If you're a new or returning player that needs help, subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. If you have any questions or confused about anything in the game, feel free to drop a comment. I'll try my best to help and make a video for it as well. Check me out on Twitch at RamyStreams, and thank you for watching.